Hi, guys. I cannot wait to introduce you to my guest today on our Powerful Women series. I am in awe of this truly amazing artist and woman coming to us from New York City, Jill Malek. Hello, welcome.
Hello. Hi, Rachel.
I'm so happy to see you. Oh my
I'm happy
goodness.
to see you. Thanks for having me.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. So, just for a little background, you own and run your own very successful bespoke wall covering company, Jill Malek, in New York City. And just a few of your clients across the country include Google HQ, Starwood Hotels, Bergdorf Goodman, YouTube HQ, the Yellow Magnolia Cafe in New York's Brooklyn Botanical Gardens. I mean, the list goes on and on. You've been featured in many publications, including the New York Times, Architectural Digest, Domino, Interior Design, just to name a few. And you were on an episode of Indie Scene TV as well. So just unbelievable. And you've been such a gifted artist since you were so young. Did you always dream of owning your own business in conjunction with your art?
No, actually, I did not. I always knew I wanted to be creative and wanted to make things and do things. And it wasn't after I had a series of jobs in different corporate companies for many years that I realized I would only be fulfilled creatively if I went out on my own. And then having my own business was sort of a byproduct of that. So I didn't necessarily want to be a business owner,
Right.
but I did want to make things and be as creative as possible, and running my own business allowed me to do those things.
Well, can you just kind of take us on your journey of turning that passion for art into this phenomenally successful business and where you are today?
Well, I will give you the abridged version.
Okay.
Well, I studied visual arts at Oberlin College many years ago, with an emphasis on painting. And from there, I found myself as a graphic designer in New York. I was working for a lot of different corporate companies within their marketing department, working on print. So I would work on brand books and marketing collateral and point of sale. And then I was art directing at one point for Starwood Hotels, still within the marketing department. And I am, and was at the time, married to an architect. And I started to think about environments and spaces and working on a larger scale. And I thought that wallpaper would be an interesting transition from the smaller print ads to a larger environmental space where I could still be creative and employ my graphic knowledge. So that's kind of how I got into that, but I didn't know anything about it. So I sort of just taught myself over time and learned the business by asking other people questions and just figuring it out.
Wow. Now, I would imagine when you're an artist in a corporate, area, did you often feel like you couldn't really express yourself maybe 100% the way because they were like, no, it has to look like this?
1000%. I mean, I think I was able to pump out things quickly and work within deadlines and be fast. But I always thought that the end product would get diluted a lot of the times. And it was challenging for me to feel passionate about what I was doing and feel good about what I was doing. And there was no value in it. And so while I recognized what I was doing was important and valuable for the company, it wasn't in alignment with what I wanted to do.
Oh, that's really important to recognize, because I wonder too how many artists might get frustrated and say, well, I have to keep this job to pay the bills, but I can't fulfill my own artistic vision as much as I would like to.
I mean, it happens all the time, and a lot of creative people are able to successfully navigate the politics within corporate companies and even figure out a way to feel fulfilled creatively. But I always found that to be very challenging, and that was the main reason why I strayed away from it. And I felt deep down that I would never be able to be the best version of myself unless I went out on my own.
Wow. Oh, that's wonderful. Yes. And you gave yourself permission to do that, which is really important too.
I did. I mean, if I felt like I could control it, I would have stayed in a corporate structure because it is more comfortable, and there are less risks involved, and it is actually easier in a lot of ways. But I felt like I didn't actually have a choice. Like I felt like it was what I had to do.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. And again, listening to your gut that was telling you that and really honoring what your gut was telling you. That's, oh, wow, amazing. So to that, what's the best part of running your business? I know it's probably a 24/7 gig when you're the owner and everything, but what's the best part about it?
Well, I read your book, Rachel, and I've also looked at your blogs, and there was something that resonated, or many things, but there was one thing you talk about where you say the best part about going on vacation or going to an event is the space right before it, the anticipation of it. And I think for me, running my business, the best part of it is the space right before a product launch, or announcing a new collaboration, or going to a event, an award event or a trade show. The space right before that for me is the best part, that anticipation.
Right. Oh, that's so great. And we will have your website at the end and in the notes, but you've got to check out jillmalek.com. These designs are magnificent. Oh my goodness. So I don't know much about the design world, but it seems like, at least with fashion and interior design, it seems dominated by men. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have you faced any challenges being a successful female business owner in this really competitive field, and how have you navigated those?
I've been asked this before. I actually haven't been directly confronted with other designers that I work with, and I'm working mostly with designers. I have experienced a little bit with contractors and people buying things from me. And, I've been called pushy before and demanding, and that I maybe are charging too much. And it's very possible if I were a man, I would not get that kind of feedback from contractors. But all in all, I just, I've been able to successfully ignore them and continue to go about what I'm doing. But with the designers that I work with, I don't feel like I've directly experienced that, thankfully.
That,
Knock on wood.
yeah, right. I was gonna say, right. Well, but even in that, the fact that you're able to ignore them and not, take that in to say, oh, they said I was being too pushy, I should hold back. The fact that you're not doing that, I think that's huge. And I think a lot of us who were raised, to be, I don't know, good girls, or, don't rock the boat. And then we don't get what we want, and we don't get
Right.
the quality, especially in an artistic field, that you should demand, you know. Hmm.
Yeah, and you have to push things through, and you have to demand a quality product, or else, you don't have a good product.
Right.
So
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you were able to do that. I need to take some of your advice. That's very good. So, what advice do you have for someone who might want to turn their artistic passion into a business, or go after a dream, but they're too afraid because it's really, I mean, this is a huge leap. So,
yeah, I
impart
would
us
say
with your wisdom.
if you are employed by another company, try to milk them for as long as possible.
Yes.
Take their resources, take your time, use them as much as you can before you leap off. But also, I remember having a business plan, which I didn't take very seriously, but in retrospect, it's very important to map out a plan and to meet with uh, advisors that could help you in ways that you don't necessarily know how to do on your own. Because at the end of the day, if you're an artist, you are still running a business, and it's not just about making beautiful things. So I would say talking to people that can give you advice that you don't naturally have on your own is a huge thing. And then also coming up with a product or service that fills a need, I think is really important. Like, what can you do that's completely unique, that's helping other people? You know, how can you help? How can you help other people? And I've thought a lot about that, because it's, again, it's not just about me making pretty things all day. It's about me offering something to others that's helpful or inspiring or uplifting.
Mm-hmm. And when you set that intention for your art and for your business, then that's what is put forth in the world. And that's
Yeah.
because I'm assuming you weren't like, I'm going to do this to make a lot of money.
No,
You know,
I would
right.
be doing something else. I want to make a lot of money, but yeah, no, that was not my intention. It was my wish and hope,
Yes.
but that was not the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing.
So intention's so important. And I also think that obviously getting the people around you to help you with the business side is because there's no, you know, why would you or I know how to run a business? We've never done it. We didn't go to business school. And
Right.
so unfortunately, I see a lot of times when all the focus is on the art and people might say, well, why isn't anybody buying it? Or why isn't anybody seeing this? It's like, well, because you need the marketing
You do.
and be willing to say, I need the help in this area and ask for it.
That's right.
Yeah. Because we're not meant to know everything. It would be great if we did, but we don't. So
Yeah, employing others as much as you can to help you in ways that complement your lack of knowledge or things that you just don't naturally have or don't do well. I think is important.
It is. And I've been talking to people a lot about how I feel like we're taught to ask for help makes us seem weak. And I'm like, asking for help, I think, is one of the strongest, bravest things you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. And delegating.
Ah.
I'm absolutely not good with delegating, but it's an important skill. You know, you want to do everything sometimes, and sometimes you have to learn to just give up the rein.
Right.
But I think the other thing I was saying is very important also, and creating, you know, it's important to create to fulfill your need and make things if you have an urge to do that and if it's fulfilling for you. But I think thinking about how you can help other people with what you put out is really important too. How you can service others.
Yeah, and it brings something so much extra, excuse me, to that piece of art when that's there. Oh wow, I want to come and get some wallpaper. Okay, I really do. So you wear a lot of hats. You successful business owner, designer, artist, mother, wife, daughter, sister, aunt, friend. Oh my goodness. And I know you take all of those roles very seriously. So how do you balance all of these passions with running a business? Any advice to share there?
I recently started to meditate. I think it's really, really important, especially for people who, like me, who have a lot of stuff in their head and are trying to juggle many things, to take at least 15 minutes a day to just clear your mind and be kind to yourself and just unplug and just kind of take it all in and contemplate.
Now, if I may ask, how long did it take you to really, because I have tried it, and again, I have a lot of trouble shutting it off. So they're like, just stay with it. And I'm like, well, if I could stay with it, then I'd be like, I could do it. So
Yeah.
you have it, and I'm sure it's not even perfect every day now, but like,
no. I think even if you do it for 2 minutes a day, like 3 minutes, I think the more you do it, the easier it is to slip into it. I think the biggest challenge is finding the time and the space to do it, because there's always something we have to do all day long. But I have, you know, usually after I do it, I definitely feel a sense of calm and this reflection that kind of takes over. That's very useful.
What makes me laugh about myself is the whole point of meditation is to be in the flow and go with whatever happens. And meanwhile, I'm like, okay, I'm going to meditate for 15 minutes. And, you know what I mean? It's like, and then if it doesn't go, then I get angry. You know, it's that whole like, and it's like missing the point here, Rachel.
I feel like even going on a walk by yourself outside in nature is a form of meditation too. You know, like things
Mhm.
like that. Like quiet, having a quiet moment to yourself.
Mhm.
That could be seen as meditation.
Oh, I love that. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be the, you know, the
It doesn't have to be
meditation.
like, you don't have to do that.
Right,
If it
right.
doesn't feel right, you have to do what feels right to you.
Right. Yes. No, I totally agree. And of course you're right. Yes.
And then the other thing that I've learned, or that I'm really trying to practice, which goes into what you're saying about like panicking if you can't get into the flow state of meditation, is to be kind to yourself. Like if you feel that you're like, oh, I can't do this, it's not working out, accept yourself, like be kind to yourself. And that takes a lot of mental strength sometimes, because it's so easy to beat yourself up over anything. And I think like practicing acceptance is very key to
Mhm.
doing what you want to do every day.
Wow, that's so true. That's so true. And I feel like if we could have learned something from last year when everything was really out of our control, kind of accepting this is the situation now. It's not what we want, but it is. That was good practice for turning it inward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's very good. I will have to get back to you on that. So as the world opens back up, yay! What do you have coming up with collabs and installations, and tell us everything?
Well, I have a new collab coming out this month or next month, I think, with a company called Carnegie Fabrics, and they do a lot of commercial fabrics and wall coverings, and they have one sector that's healthcare. And I created a line for them of wall coverings and privacy curtains that's meant to go in hospitals and wellness centers, but it can also double over into workspaces and hospitality. It was designed in such a way that it can go in both spaces. So I'm excited about that.
Wow. Because those curtains in hospitals are always just those,
Yeah, it was terrible. And it was in conjunction, which you probably know, Carol, my mother, was in the hospital a couple years ago for heart surgery.
Mhm.
And when I was visiting her, I noticed how the dark and confining spaces that she was in really had a direct effect on her healing. And so I designed this collection with that in mind, using like very light colors and soft imagery.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying before about designing in a way that can be helpful to others.
Yes. Yes. Wow. What a great purpose you'll serve. And I would love to get like some data after it's up. Like,
Me
are
too.
people getting better? I'm sure they will. Oh, and tell me, how do the collabs with the shoes work? Because you've done footwear too, right?
Yeah, this year I did a collection with Cougar Shoes. They're a Canadian brand, and I did a design for one of their popular rain boots, and it's going well.
Oh, that's great. Oh my gosh. Check it out, jamalk.com. I can't wait to see all this. And that was my other question was where can we find you online to see all of your gorgeousness? And can
Yeah,
people order from anywhere in the world?
yes, and the best way is through my website, jillmalek.com.
Okay, yeah, like I said, we'll have it at the end. I could talk to you all day. I know you have things to do, but this was so wonderful and so helpful. So great to talk to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rachel.
Great to see you. Mwah!